Have you ever caught yourself repeating the same negative phrases about yourself, about your life, about what you deserve? Maybe it's "I never get lucky," or "money always slips through my fingers," or "I'm not good enough." These words aren't just passing thoughts. They're literally shaping your reality, creating exactly what you fear most. What if I told you that you have the power to change all of this with a simple shift in the words you choose? In this video, you're going to discover how daily abundance affirmations can completely transform your life, just as Louise Hay taught millions of people around the world. You'll learn why your words have magnetic power, how your deepest beliefs are creating your current reality, and most importantly, how to choose a power phrase that could be the turning point you've been waiting for. I understand the frustration of feeling stuck in patterns you can't seem to break. I know what it's like to want more from life but not know where to begin. And I promise that by the end of this video, you'll have practical tools and a new perspective that can change everything. Stay for a special moment where you can join this community of transformation and anchor this new path of abundance. Imagine waking up every day feeling worthy, confident, and open to receiving all the goodness the universe has for you. Imagine replacing that critical inner voice with one of love, encouragement, and possibility. This isn't fantasy. It's completely possible when you learn to work consciously with your affirmations and beliefs. And at the end, I'll guide you through a powerful practical exercise you can start using immediately to feel this shift in your own life. So take a deep breath, allow yourself to be present, and let's embark together on this journey of self-discovery and abundance. You deserve this, and I'm here to show you the way. The inner treasure. There's something profoundly transformative that happens when you finally understand that you deserve all the good things life has to offer. Louise Hay always reminded us that abundance isn't something we conquer through struggle or sacrifice, but rather something we allow into our lives when we recognize our inherent worth. When you look at your journey so far, how many times have you failed to receive because deep down, a voice whispered that you weren't enough? That voice isn't your truth. It's just an echo of old beliefs that can be gently released. I deserve all the abundance the universe has to offer me. Worthiness isn't something you need to earn, dear one. You were born deserving love, prosperity, health, and joy. According to Louise Hay, many people carry thought patterns that block abundance simply because at some point they internalized the idea that they're not worthy. Perhaps it was a word spoken in childhood, a painful experience, or simply cultural messages that taught us we need to be perfect to deserve good things. But the truth is that your essence, exactly as you are right now, is already perfect and complete. When you embrace this truth, the doors of abundance begin to open naturally. Think of Sarah, a woman who worked tirelessly for years, always striving her hardest but never feeling like she was enough. She saved every penny, denied herself small pleasures, and lived in constant anxiety about money. One day, while exploring her thought patterns, Sarah realized she carried the belief that she didn't deserve to prosper because as a child, her family always struggled financially, and she associated love with scarcity. By recognizing this limiting belief, she began working with daily affirmations. Gradually, Sarah allowed herself to receive compliments, accept help, and even invest in herself. And you know what happened? Opportunities began to appear, relationships deepened, and she finally experienced the sensation of flow and ease in her life. Louise Hay teaches us that our thoughts create our reality. When you constantly repeat to yourself that you don't deserve, that you're not good enough, or that abundance is for others, you're literally programming your mind to reject the blessings trying to reach you. It's like closing the door on a wonderful gift the universe is trying to deliver. But here's the good news. You have the power to change this programming. Every thought of worthiness you cultivate is like planting a seed in fertile soil. With care, love, and repetition, these seeds grow and blossom, transforming the entire garden of your life. I am worthy of receiving all the goodness life offers. So how do you begin to cultivate this deep sense of worthiness? First, observe your thoughts with gentleness and curiosity. When an opportunity arises, what's your first reaction? Do you feel excited and open, or do you immediately think of reasons why it wouldn't work? According to Louise Hay, self-awareness is the first step toward transformation. Next, begin replacing thoughts of unworthiness with powerful affirmations of worthiness. Tell yourself every day that you deserve love, prosperity, health, and happiness. Say it out loud, write it in a journal, repeat it while looking in the mirror. It might feel strange at first, especially if you don't completely believe it. But the loving repetition of these truths will begin to dissolve old beliefs and create new neural pathways. You're literally rebuilding how you see yourself and how you relate to abundance. Words that heal, the words you choose to say to yourself every day, have extraordinary power. They're not just sounds or passing thoughts. They're direct commands to your subconscious. Instructions that shape your reality in ways you might not even realize. Louise Hay dedicated her life to showing us that positive affirmations are tools of deep healing and real transformation. When you wake up in the morning and the first thing you think is, "Today's going to be hard," or "I never get lucky," you're programming your entire day to reflect those expectations. But what if instead you chose to say, "I am open to receiving all the abundance this day has to offer me"? This simple shift can completely alter the course of your experience. Your subconscious doesn't judge whether what you say is true or false. It simply accepts and works to manifest what you consistently repeat. According to Louise Hay, this is why so many people live trapped in cycles of scarcity, illness, or unhappiness, not because the universe is cruel, but because their thought and speech patterns are aligned with these negative experiences. Think of it like planting seeds in a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, that's what will grow. But when you consciously plant seeds of love, abundance, and possibility through positive affirmations, you're cultivating a completely different garden. My words create my reality, and I choose words of love and prosperity. Let me share the story of Michael, a man who always struggled with money. He worked hard, but it seemed he could never get ahead. Michael constantly said things like, "Money slips through my fingers and I'll never be rich." One day, he discovered Louise Hay's work and decided to try something different. He created a personal affirmation, "Money flows to me with ease and joy." At first, he felt ridiculous saying it because his bank account said otherwise, but he persisted, repeating this phrase every morning and night. Gradually, something began to change. It wasn't instant magic, but Michael noticed he started making different decisions. He applied for a promotion he previously thought he didn't deserve. He began seeing opportunities where before he only saw obstacles. Within 6 months, his financial situation had improved significantly. Not because the universe suddenly decided to favor him, but because he changed his internal vibration through the words he chose. Louise Hay teaches us that affirmations work best when stated in the present, as if they're already true. Instead of "I will be prosperous," say "I am prosperous." Instead of "I want to be healthy," say "I am healthy and vibrant." This might feel strange or even dishonest at first, especially if your current reality seems to contradict these affirmations. But remember, you're not lying. You're declaring the truth you want to create. You're aligning your energy with the frequency of abundance, health, and love. And the more you do this, the more your external reality begins to reflect this internal truth. It's like tuning a musical instrument. You adjust until the note is perfect. I am a magnet for all the goodness and abundance of the universe. So what's your power phrase today? What affirmation resonates deeply with what your heart most desires? According to Louise Hay, the most powerful affirmations are those that directly touch the areas where you most need healing and transformation. If you struggle with self-love, your affirmation might be, I love and approve of myself completely. If it's financial abundance, try, I deserve and receive unlimited prosperity. If it's health, say my body is a sacred temple and I nourish it with love. Choose a phrase that makes your heart vibrate, even if your mind tries to argue. Write it on sticky notes and place them around your house. Say it out loud while looking in the mirror. Repeat it like a mantra throughout the day, and observe, with gentleness and curiosity, how your life begins to transform. Words are magic, dear one, and you are the magician weaving them. If this message is touching your heart, if you're feeling that spark of recognition and hope, I would love for you to join this community of souls in transformation. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving these tools of love and healing. Leave a like so more people can find this message, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And tell me in the comments, what was the most powerful insight for you so far? What affirmation is resonating in your soul right now? Your voice matters, and I'm here to walk alongside you on this journey of self-discovery and abundance. The mirror of truth. Have you ever stopped to notice how your external life seems to perfectly reflect what's happening inside you? It's not coincidence. Louise Hay taught us that the world around us is a direct mirror of our deepest beliefs, the thoughts we cultivate, and the stories we tell ourselves. When you look at your current circumstances, your relationships, your financial situation, your health, your general sense of well-being, you're actually looking at a reflection of your inner world. If there's scarcity in your life, there's scarcity in your thoughts. If there's conflict in your relationships, there's conflict within you. And here's the truly liberating part. If you can change the interior, the exterior will inevitably follow. I create my reality with every thought I choose. According to Louise Hay, our fundamental beliefs about ourselves and the world were formed primarily in childhood, absorbed from our parents, teachers, culture, and experiences. These beliefs became so ingrained that we don't even question them anymore. We simply accept them as absolute truths. If you grew up hearing that life is hard or you need to work yourself to exhaustion to have anything, these beliefs became the filter through which you see all opportunities. You literally can't see the possibilities of ease and flow because your mental filter blocks them. But the beauty of this is that just as these beliefs were learned, they can be unlearned. You can choose new beliefs, more loving and expansive ones, that open doors instead of closing them. Think of Jennifer, a brilliant and talented woman who always dreamed of having her own business, but every time she got close to taking the first step, something stopped her. She found 1,000 reasons to postpone. It wasn't the right time. She didn't have enough experience. The market was saturated. Jennifer didn't realize she was operating from a deep belief that she wasn't capable of success. This belief had been planted when, as a child, her father constantly criticized her efforts and said she would never be good enough. When Jennifer finally recognized this limiting belief and began consciously working to replace it with a new belief, I am capable, talented, and destined for success, everything changed. She began taking actions that previously seemed impossible. She launched her business. and it thrived because she had finally changed the internal mirror that reflected her external reality. Louise Hay often said that if you want to know what your beliefs are, just look at your life. Your life is perfect feedback. If you constantly attract relationships where you don't feel valued, ask yourself, do I value myself? If money always seems scarce, ask yourself, do I believe I deserve abundance? If you're constantly tired and sick, ask yourself, do I believe my body is strong and capable of healing? These questions aren't meant to judge you or make you feel bad. They're gentle invitations to self-awareness. When you identify a limiting belief, you can begin to transform it. I release all beliefs that no longer serve me and embrace truths that elevate me. Transformation begins with awareness and deepens with loving practice. According to Louise Hay, you can begin changing your beliefs through daily affirmations, positive visualizations, and especially through mirror work. Look yourself in the eyes every day and say affirmations that contradict your old limiting beliefs. If you've always believed you weren't lovable, look in the mirror and say, I am deeply lovable and worthy of love. At first, it might be uncomfortable, even painful, because you're confronting years of conditioning. But continue. The loving repetition of these new truths will begin to reprogram your subconscious. And when your interior changes, when your beliefs transform, the mirror of your external life has no choice but to reflect this new reality. You're not just changing thoughts, you're recreating your entire world from the inside out. Roots of wealth. If there's one fundamental truth that Louise Hay taught us throughout all her work, it's this: self-love is the foundation of everything. All the abundance, all the health, all the joy and prosperity you desire begins with how you relate to yourself. You can repeat 1,000 prosperity affirmations. You can visualize the life of your dreams. But if deep down you don't truly love yourself, these practices will be like planting seeds in barren soil. Self-love is the fertile ground where all your blessings can finally take root and flourish. When you love yourself, you naturally make decisions that honor your well-being. You attract people who value you. You allow abundance to flow because you know deeply that you deserve it. I love myself completely, and this transforms every area of my life. According to Louise Hay, the lack of self-love is at the root of almost every problem we face. When you don't love yourself, you sabotage yourself. You accept less than you deserve. You constantly put yourself last. You ignore your needs, your dreams, your inner voice, and then you wonder why life seems so difficult, why abundance doesn't come, why you feel empty even when you achieve things externally. The truth is that no external achievement can fill the void created by lack of self-love. You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't love yourself, you'll never feel truly prosperous. You can have relationships, but if you don't love yourself, you'll never feel truly loved. Self-love isn't selfishness. It's the foundation upon which a meaningful and abundant life is built. Let me tell you about Rachel, a woman who, in everyone's eyes, had everything. She had a successful career, a beautiful home, friends and family, but inside, Rachel felt deeply unhappy. She worked to exhaustion, never said no, and constantly criticized herself for not being good enough. One day, after an emotional breakdown, Rachel discovered Louise Hay's work and began exploring her relationship with herself. What she discovered was painful. She didn't love herself. In fact, she didn't even know how to love herself. She had spent her entire life seeking external approval, trying to prove her worth through achievements. Rachel began a journey of self-love, starting with small acts of kindness toward herself. She learned to say no. She began honoring her needs. She practiced mirror work, looking herself in the eyes and saying, "I love you" every day. Gradually, everything changed, not because her external circumstances changed drastically, but because she changed on the inside. And from that internal change, a new life blossomed. Louise Hay teaches us that self-love is a daily practice, not a destination you reach. It's a choice you make repeatedly in every small moment. It's choosing kind thoughts about yourself instead of harsh criticism. It's nourishing your body with healthy food and adequate rest. It's establishing healthy boundaries in relationships. It's forgiving yourself for mistakes and celebrating your victories, however small. It's speaking to yourself as you would speak to someone you love deeply. Every act of self-love, however small it may seem, is like watering the inner garden, and the more you water, the more lush that garden becomes. I treat myself with the kindness and respect I deserve, and this attracts all the goodness of the universe. So how do you begin cultivating this self-love if it seems so distant? According to Louise Hay, start exactly where you are, with compassion. Don't judge yourself for not loving yourself enough. That only creates more separation. Instead, gently acknowledge that you're learning a new way of relating to yourself. Begin with mirror work. Look yourself in the eyes every day and say, "I love you." It might feel strange, it might bring tears, it might feel false at first, but continue. Practice self-compassion when you make mistakes, reminding yourself that you're human and doing the best you can. Celebrate your unique qualities instead of comparing them to others. Care for your body with love, not punishment. And observe how, as you cultivate this inner garden of self-love, your entire outer life begins to reflect this new reality. Prosperity isn't something you chase. It's something that blooms naturally when you love yourself. And speaking of cultivating this self-love in a practical and tangible way, I've prepared a special exercise for you that we'll do together soon. It's a simple practice, but profoundly transformative, that will help you embody everything we're exploring here. Stay with me, because this tool might be exactly what you need to start feeling this real shift in your life. Breaking free, there's an invisible weight that so many people carry, and this weight has a name: resentment, hurt, unresolved anger. Louise Hay always reminded us that holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. When you refuse to forgive, whether another person or yourself, you're literally tying your energy to the past, preventing abundance and joy from flowing freely in your life. Forgiveness isn't about saying what happened was right or absolving someone of responsibility. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the emotional prison that keeps you trapped in old pain. It's about choosing your peace and your freedom above the need to be right or to make someone pay. I release the past with love and open space for miracles in my life. According to Louise Hay, many of the blocks we experience regarding abundance, health, and happiness are directly linked to unresolved hurts. When you carry resentment, you're constantly reliving the pain, keeping it alive in your body and your energy. This creates tension, stress, and even physical illness. Your body literally can't relax and receive because it's in a constant state of defense. Think about it. How can you be open to receiving love if your heart is closed by hurt? How can you attract prosperity if your energy is all focused on who hurt you in the past? Forgiveness is the key that opens these locked doors. It's not easy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it's absolutely essential for your freedom and transformation. Let me share the story of David, a man who carried anger toward his father for decades. His father had been absent, critical, and emotionally distant throughout his entire childhood. David grew up feeling unloved and unseen, and this pain transformed into deep anger. He vowed never to be like his father. But ironically, David discovered he was repeating the same patterns in his own relationships. He was emotionally closed, had difficulty trusting, and sabotaged intimate connections. When David found Louise Hay's work on forgiveness, he initially resisted. Why should he forgive someone who hurt him so much? But then he realized something crucial. He wasn't forgiving for his father's sake. He was forgiving for his own sake. David began working with forgiveness, affirmations, and gradually felt the weight begin to dissolve. He didn't forget what happened, but he stopped letting it control his life. And when he finally released that anchor, everything changed. His relationships improved, his health improved, and he finally felt he could breathe freely. Louise Hay teaches us that the most important forgiveness, and often the most difficult, is forgiving yourself. How many times do you punish yourself for past mistakes? How many times do you relive moments of shame, regret, or failure, beating yourself up repeatedly? This constant self-criticism is one of the greatest barriers to abundance and happiness. You can't thrive while you're at war with yourself. You can't heal while you're punishing yourself. According to Louise Hay, you did the best you could with the knowledge and awareness you had at that moment. You were a different person then. And now, with more wisdom and compassion, you can choose to forgive yourself. You can choose to release guilt and embrace grace. I forgive myself completely and free myself from all judgment and guilt. So how do you practice forgiveness when the pain still feels so real? According to Louise Hay, start with willingness. You don't need to feel forgiveness completely at first. You just need to be willing to forgive. Say to yourself, I am willing to release this resentment. I am willing to forgive myself. This willingness opens the door. Next, practice forgiveness affirmations regularly. Write forgiveness letters you'll never send, just to release the energy. Visualize yourself cutting energetic cords that tie you to people or situations from the past. And remember, forgiveness is a process, not a single event. You might need to forgive the same person or situation many times before you feel complete release. Be patient and gentle with yourself. Every step toward forgiveness is a step toward your freedom, your peace, and your ability to receive all the abundance the universe has waiting for you. The invisible magnet, there's a magnetic force in the universe that responds directly to the energy you emit. And one of the most powerful frequencies you can cultivate is gratitude. Louise Hay always taught us that what you focus on expands. When you direct your attention to what's missing, what's wrong, what you don't have, you're literally signaling to the universe to send you more scarcity. But when you shift your focus to what's already present, to the blessings that already exist in your life, however small they may seem, you open a powerful channel to receive even more. Gratitude isn't just a pleasant feeling, it's a transformative practice that changes your energetic vibration and attracts abundance like a magnet. I am grateful for all the blessings in my life, and this gratitude attracts even more goodness. According to Louise Hay, gratitude is one of the simplest yet most profound tools for transforming your life. When you're in a state of genuine gratitude, you can't simultaneously be in fear, anxiety, or resentment. Gratitude anchors you in the present moment and helps you recognize that even amid challenges, there's always something to be grateful for. Perhaps it's the breath in your lungs, the roof over your head, a smile from a stranger, or simply the fact that you're alive and have the opportunity to grow and transform. When you begin noticing these small blessings, something magical happens. You begin seeing more of them, not because they suddenly appeared, but because you trained your eyes to see them. And the more you see, the more you attract. Think of Maria, a woman going through an extremely difficult financial period. She had lost her job, was struggling to pay bills and felt desperate. Each day seemed darker than the last, and Maria was trapped in a cycle of worry and negativity. One day, a friend gave her a Louise Hay book and suggested she start a gratitude journal. Maria initially resisted, thinking, "How can I be grateful when everything is falling apart?" But she decided to try. On the first night, she forced herself to write 3 things she was grateful for: her healthy children, a warm meal, and the sunset she had seen. It seemed insignificant, but she continued. Day after day, Maria found 3 things to be thankful for. Gradually, her perspective began to change. She noticed opportunities she hadn't seen before. She felt more energized and hopeful. And then, things began changing externally too. She found a new job, better than the previous one. Unexpected help appeared. Maria realized that gratitude hadn't directly changed her circumstances, but it had changed her, and that internal change created a new external reality. Louise Hay often said that gratitude transforms what we have into enough. In a culture that constantly tells us we need more, that we're never enough and never have enough, gratitude is a radical act of contentment and power. It doesn't mean you can't desire growth or improvements. It means you appreciate where you are while walking toward where you want to be. This appreciation creates an energy of abundance, not scarcity. When you operate from abundance, you make different decisions. You don't act from desperation or fear, but from inspiration and confidence. And the universe responds to that energy. I celebrate every blessing in my life and trust that more goodness is on its way. So how do you cultivate a consistent gratitude practice that truly transforms your life? According to Louise Hay, start simple. Every morning or evening, write 3 to 5 things you're grateful for. It doesn't need to be something grand. It can be hot coffee, a meaningful conversation, or simply the fact that you have another day to live and grow. The important thing is to feel the gratitude, not just list it mechanically. Allow yourself to truly feel the appreciation in your heart. You can also practice gratitude throughout the day, pausing to mentally thank for small moments of beauty or kindness. Thank your body for carrying you. Thank the people who support you. Thank even the challenges that teach and strengthen you. And observe how, as you become a magnet of gratitude, abundance begins flowing to you in ways you never imagined. Gratitude isn't just about receiving more. It's about recognizing that you already have much, and that awareness is true wealth. Divine whispers within you exists a source of infinite wisdom, a soft and loving voice that always knows the right path. Louise Hay called this your inner wisdom, your intuition, your connection to the divine. This voice is always present, always guiding you toward your highest good. But often you can't hear it because the external world is so noisy and your mind is so full of worries, doubts, and voices of other people. When you learn to silence the noise and tune into this inner voice, you gain access to guidance that will never lead you astray. This connection to your inner wisdom is essential for creating a life of authentic abundance, because only you truly know what your heart desires and which path is right for you. I trust the divine wisdom that resides within me and follow its loving guidance. According to Louise Hay, many people live disconnected from their inner voice because they were taught early on not to trust themselves. You were taught to seek answers outside yourself, to follow rules and expectations of others, to doubt your own feelings and instincts. When you felt something was wrong but everyone said everything was fine, you learned to distrust your perception. When you had a dream or desire but others said it was impractical, you learned to silence your inner voice. Over time, this disconnection became so deep that you don't even know anymore what you really want or feel. You live on autopilot, following what's expected, but feeling a persistent emptiness. Reconnecting with your inner wisdom is like coming home after a long journey. It's remembering who you really are, beyond all the roles and masks. Let me tell you about Emma, a woman who always did what was expected of her. She chose a career her parents approved of, married someone who seemed right on paper, and lived a life that externally seemed perfect. But inside, Emma felt lost and disconnected. She no longer knew who she was or what she really wanted. One day, after years of silent unhappiness, Emma discovered Louise Hay's work and began practicing meditation and reflective writing. In the silence of meditation, she began hearing soft whispers, not audible words, but feelings, intuitions, knowings that arose from within. Her inner voice was telling her she needed to make changes, that she deserved to be happy, that there was a different path waiting for her. At first, Emma was afraid to follow this guidance, but the more she practiced listening and trusting, the stronger the voice became. Emma eventually made courageous changes in her life, aligning with her inner truth, and for the first time in years, she felt peace, joy, and a deep sense of being on the right path. Louise Hay teaches us that your inner voice always speaks with love, never with fear or judgment. If you hear a critical, harsh, or fear-filled voice, that's not your inner wisdom. It's the ego, its old limiting beliefs, its internalized voices of other people. Your true inner voice is gentle, patient, and always guides you toward love and expansion. It might encourage you to step out of your comfort zone, but always with compassion, never with punishment. It might show you difficult truths, but always with the intention of freeing you, not imprisoning you. Learning to distinguish between these voices is a crucial skill, and the more you practice, the clearer the distinction becomes. I hear and trust the loving voice of my soul, and it guides me perfectly. So how do you cultivate this connection with your inner wisdom amid the chaos of daily life? According to Louise Hay, start by creating moments of silence and stillness. It can be through meditation, walks in nature, journaling, or simply sitting in silence for a few minutes every day. In these moments, ask questions of your inner wisdom. What do I need to know today? What's the next right step for me? How can I love myself better? And then, simply listen. Don't force answers. Allow them to arise naturally. Pay attention to feelings in your body, images that appear in your mind, words that arise in your heart. Trust what you receive, even if it doesn't make logical sense immediately. Your intuition often sees the bigger picture that your rational mind can't. And the more you honor and follow this inner guidance, the stronger and clearer it becomes. You're not alone on this journey. You have a wise and loving guide within you, always ready to illuminate your path. Weaving tomorrow, you have the extraordinary power to create the future you desire, not through rigid control or exhausting willpower, but through the energy you cultivate today, the thoughts you choose now, the loving actions you take in this present moment. Louise Hay always reminded us that every thought you think is literally shaping your tomorrow. When you constantly worry about the future, you're sending energy of fear and scarcity forward, and that's what you'll create. But when you visualize a radiant future, when you see yourself healthy, prosperous, loved, and happy, when you feel these emotions now as if they were already real, you're weaving that future with the golden threads of possibility. I create a bright and abundant future with every loving thought I choose today. According to Louise Hay, creative visualization is one of the most powerful tools for manifesting the life you desire. It's not fantasy or magical thinking. It's consciously working with universal laws of energy and attraction. When you vividly visualize what you want, When you allow yourself to feel the emotions of having already achieved your dreams, you're aligning your vibrational energy with that reality. You're signaling to the universe, this is what I want, this is who I am. And the universe responds by organizing circumstances, people, and opportunities to match that vibration. But here's the key. You can't just visualize occasionally and then spend the rest of the day in thoughts of doubt and fear. You need to consistently cultivate the energy of the future you want to create, living as if it were already true. Think of Thomas, a man who dreamed of having his own home but always felt financially trapped. He constantly worried about money and saw his situation as impossible to change. One day, Thomas decided to try something different. Inspired by Louise Hay's teachings, he began dedicating 10 minutes every morning to visualizing himself in his own home. He saw every detail, the colors of the walls, the feeling of peace upon entering, the joy of having his own space. He allowed himself to feel the gratitude and fulfillment as if it were already real. But Thomas didn't stop at visualization. He also began taking small actions aligned with this future. He organized his finances, started saving even if they were small amounts, and kept his eyes open for opportunities. Within 2 years, Thomas bought his first home. It wasn't magic. It was the combination of aligned energy, consistent belief, and inspired action. He had woven this future thread by thread, thought by thought, choice by choice. Louise Hay teaches us that creating a future of well-being doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or that everything will be perfect. It means you develop an internal foundation so strong, so rooted in self-love and trust, that you can navigate any storm with grace. It means you stop living in survival mode and start living in prosperity mode. You stop waiting for things to get better and start actively creating improvement through your daily choices. Every positive affirmation you say, every loving thought you choose, every act of self-care you practice is building the foundation of your radiant future. I am the architect of my life, and I build with love, faith, and gratitude. So how do you begin consciously weaving this future of well-being today? According to Louise Hay, start with clarity about what you truly desire, not what others want for you, not what you think you should want, but what your heart truly longs for. Write your vision in detail. How do you want to feel? What does your ideal life look like in terms of health, relationships, work, environment? Next, practice visualizing this life every day, allowing yourself to feel the emotions of already living it. Combine this practice with affirmations that reinforce this reality. I am creating a life of abundance and joy. My future is bright and full of possibilities. And then, pay attention to inspirations and opportunities that arise, and take action when your inner wisdom guides you. You're not just dreaming of a better future, you're actively co-creating it with the universe, point by point, moment by moment. And every day you practice this, you move closer to the radiant life that is your birthright. Transformative ritual. Now that you've absorbed all these powerful teachings, it's time to put them into practice in a tangible and transformative way. This exercise I'm going to share with you is based on Louise Hay's profound mirror work, but with a specific focus on abundance and worthiness. It's simple, but incredibly powerful when practiced with consistency and an open heart. Here's what you're going to do. Every day, morning or evening, find a mirror where you can see your face clearly. It can be the bathroom mirror, a hand mirror, anyone that allows you to look directly into your own eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, allowing your body to relax and your mind to calm. Then, look yourself in the eyes, really look. Don't look away, and say out loud, with as much sincerity as you can muster. Your name: I love and approve of you completely. You deserve all the abundance the universe has to offer. You are worthy of prosperity, health, love, and joy. I choose thoughts of abundance today, and my life reflects this choice. At first, this might feel strange, uncomfortable, even false. You might feel resistance. You might want to laugh or cry. All of this is normal. Continue anyway. The resistance you feel is simply old, limiting beliefs being confronted by the new truth you're planting. Do this for at least 21 consecutive days, the time it takes to begin forming a new neural habit. But don't stop there. After saying these words, choose a personal power affirmation for that specific day. It can be something related to what you're working on. I attract wonderful opportunities with ease, or my body is healthy and vibrant, or I am a magnet for loving and respectful relationships. Choose one that resonates with what your heart most needs to hear in that moment, and repeat it 3 times while maintaining eye contact with yourself in the mirror. To deepen this practice even further, keep a small journal next to the mirror. After completing the ritual, quickly write 3 things. 1 thing you're grateful for today, 1 victory, however small, you recognize in yourself, and 1 loving intention for the day. This takes just a few minutes but anchors the energy of the exercise and creates a tangible record of your transformation journey. Remember, this isn't just a mental exercise, it's an act of radical love. It's you choosing, consciously and repeatedly, to rewrite the narrative of your life. It's you telling the universe, I am ready to receive, I deserve, I am abundance. And the universe always responds to this clarity and conviction. Practice this with gentleness and patience toward yourself. Some days will be easier than others. Some days the words will flow with conviction. Other days you'll need to force yourself to say them. Both are valid. What's important is consistency, the loving commitment to your own transformation, and observe, in the coming weeks, how small changes begin to happen in how you feel, in how you behave, and eventually, in how your external life begins to reflect this new internal energy of abundance and worthiness. Your new journey, dear one, you've made it this far, and that in itself is already a victory. You've dedicated this time to yourself, to your transformation, to embracing the truth that you deserve all the abundance life has to offer. Take everything you've learned today and apply it with gentleness, with patience, with unconditional love for yourself. Remember, transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen step by step. Affirmation by affirmation, loving choice by loving choice. You have within you everything you need to create the radiant life your heart longs for. Trust the process, trust yourself, and most importantly, allow yourself to receive all the goodness that's already on its way. I believe in you, and I hope you believe in yourself too. Until next time, and may your journey be filled with love, light, and infinite abundance.